2013 was a record-setting year because we barely saw any rainfall, but it may go into the record books as the driest year in half a century. And Angelo talked with a Berkeley professor today who believes the past could indicate a dire situation.
Some people have said that this could be the start of a several-decade-long dry spell.
Dried up creek beds and golden hills that look like August instead of January could become our typical landscape if history repeats itself. UC Berkeley professor Lynn Ingram is the author of The West Without Water. She looked back 10 to 20,000 years and came to the conclusion we live in a dry climate.
It's important to understand our climate history and know when were the droughts, and then we also had years of extreme flood.
Ingram is a paleoclimatologist who examines history to forecast the future, and a study about tree rings led her to predict we could be in for the driest winter in 500 years. Narrow tree rings indicate little or no water for growth, just like they saw in the 1500s.
And they put on rings every single year, so you can actually be able to detect one year of drought.
Another indication, but not as precise, are sediment cores that can span a few thousand years and point to the saltiness of the bay. More fresh water and the salinity drops. And what they're seeing is at least something on par with what happened here in 1976 to 1977. And this could be the norm for quite some time.
That was like the year with no rain. We could be on track for heading into a drier sort of period.
Some droughts, like one in the Middle Ages, lasted more than a century. Ingram's not predicting that. She says that's like predicting earthquakes, but calls this time anxiety-provoking. The Bay Area was built up during the wet 20th century. We may be forced to adapt to a drier 21st. In Concord, Angelo, KPIX 5.
Professor Ingram says we should use this information to rethink how we use, save, and recycle our water.